before I forget, I can't ignore the fact that you posted like 2 hours ago about injecting your penis. So,
Yeah.
I didn't want to say at the start of the podcast because
Yeah.
I knew it would probably get us demonetized too. And it was just a hard detour. But so could you tell me about how you arrived at the, I don't know, epiphany that penis enhancement was worth pursuing? Because it's certainly not like anti-aging, really.
Yeah.
It's more, if anything, confidence that is almost an unjustifiable insecurity for many men who have average measurement to begin with. So it's like often an ego thing too, not even like a real practical use of time.
Yeah.
So what is the like the thought process behind this?
Well, with Blueprint, we've endeavored to measure every organ of my body, and no one's done that before. It's really hard.
So what's the measurement?
Measurement stuff. Yeah, that's very good. Well played. So like, doing blood is easy. Doing blood really well is hard. But when you start going into imaging and fitness tests and like all the other thousands of tests, that's very hard. And so that's really where we've excelled as an endeavor is I've become the most measured person in history. And so the penis is a really important organ. And so, right, like it's a pretty critical thing to us as a species. And so
is this going to be published on the website with the before and afters and everything? Or is it just going to be the delta of change?
I mean, I have to call my mom. Like I need to see how she feels about it.
Sure.
I do call her every week and I'm like, Mom, just so you know, here's what I did this week.
Yeah.
So that her friends don't surprise her of like, your son, so she's in a pretty conservative community.
Sure.
But the penis is really important. And so we were talking as a team and we wondered what if we were trying to get the most quantified penis in the world, what would you do? Like, how would you actually measure penis function? And so we just laid it out. And I think we came up with about 7 different things we could do that measures penis and sexual function. And then we did all those things. So we started with nighttime erections. We have that's not something people are familiar with, but it's a little cube you put on the shaft of your penis. It sits at the base. You go to sleep. You don't even know you're wearing it. And it measures the duration of your erections and the number of erections. And there's a good age calculator. So you can determine based upon that data, what your biological age is for erections. And also it's a representation of physiological, mental, and cardiovascular health. And then we did extensive ultrasound measurements. So I got the injection in the penis that creates an erection, which I would never do again. It was painful. It made me sick. I think we would do like manual stimulation next time. It would be a better way of doing it. But we did all kinds of ultrasound measurements, looking at blood flow. I did a max urination speed. I maxed out how much I could store in my bladder. I took 3 different surveys on sexual health and penis function. I think there's 1 or 2 more I'm forgetting. But basically, we just did everything we could to measure. And then we said, okay, so now we have this quantification. What are the therapies that actually rejuvenate the penis? And we found focused shockwave therapy, and that was primarily used for people with ED. And then same with this Botox. And then there's a few things you can do.
Aren't the results of that kind of contingent on you having poor cardiovascular health to begin with, though? Like, how much could it take somebody who's in optimal health from baseline to...
You're exactly right. Yeah. So this is the thing and we've seen this with many things, is once you achieve a certain level of optimization, some things don't stack. And so yes, the focused shockwave was basically for ED correction, and then the Botox, but also it increases penile length, but also includes, it improves blood flow. And so, I mean, the thing that I'm trying to do with this, right, is Blueprint is a rigorous scientific study. We're also having fun. And so if you just pose the question, it's fun. Like, how would you quantify the penis of a function? And then how would you actually rejuvenate the penis? And so it is just play for us. But we are doing it in a scientific fashion with data.
What's the delta between the average erection duration during sleep for a young, vital 19-year-old or, peak male versus elderly?
3 hours and 30 minutes would be an 18-year-old marker. I'm 2 hours and 30 right now. So I need to increase it by a full 60 minutes
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what we're wondering is, will the combination of these therapies have a kickback effect?
And what was the baseline when you started?
That was my baseline.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, the thing that's tough with this stuff, though, is it's like so contingent on other conflating factors like hormones. So if you're calorie deprived and your testosterone levels are suppressed,
Yeah.
obviously that's going to have an effect on
Yeah.
it. If you are, I don't know, even your temperature at nighttime, if you're trying to be as cold as possible, the vasodilation capacity is going to be lower.
Yep.
There's so many things that, and even if you were to implement interventions like tadalafil, I'm blocking PDE5 and I'm getting better, stronger, longer erections, you could just be band-aiding the real root of the issue to some extent, if there was an issue, and inflating your biological age perception of that organ. So it's like, how do you make sense of these things to even justify it as worth your time, I suppose, aside from the fun?
Yeah, I completely agree. We try to hold as many variables constant as we can. And so I agree. So bed temperature, right, is going to be a factor there. So it's constant. So whether it has an effect or not, it's still constant throughout the measurement period. The diet is constant.
Right.
So we do try to control for these compounds. We realize it's not a perfectly controlled experiment.
Right.
Definitely some variability. And that's the trade-off space we've accepted, that given that we're moving as fast as we are, and I'm N of 1, we're trying to tease out what we can with these experimental therapies, but fully aware that we are shy of a perfect experimental condition.